Hey, we're going to talk a little bit about games that are like teamfight tactics. There aren't many of them because the genre is still relatively new, but we have games like these. Hearthstone's version is Hearthstone Battlegrounds. You do the same sort of things where you recruit the army, you spend gold, there's management, and you kind of try and make the strongest team you can to survive or come out on top versus 8 players. It's not exactly the same since board positioning is a little different. It's kind of 2D, but it still has a lot of the same mechanics. Here we have something else that's similar, which is TD Legions 2, or Legions TD 2, or something like that. It's based off of an old Warcraft 3 mod, and it has some of the same things where you have to do positioning, except it's a little different. You kind of work together with someone else to try and defend the same sort of king. Positioning matters. It's done in the same sort of way that Teamfight Tactics is done, where you have your board, except that they use squares instead. And it looks more like chess because it's chess inspired. It's less RNG dependent, and there's a lot more skill expression through game knowledge rather than what we're used to with Teamfight Tactics, where it's kind of about manipulating the RNG. You always fight the same sets of units, and what you're supposed to do is build the strongest team you can and spend as little gold as you can on that powerful team so that you can build more workers and kind of, I guess, boost your economy ahead of the opponents that you're fighting. And then after you go ahead and you boost yourself, then you're supposed to send mercenaries to the enemy to try and make them fail against those PvE waves, because all of the waves are PvE. Here we have Doda Underlords. This is the most similar one. It's actually played exactly the same because it's based off of, it's the standalone version of Doda Auto Chess, which is literally what caused TFT to be made. I don't think that we would have it if Doda Auto Chess did not exist. They function the exact same with synergies and unit placement, except that, this also uses squares instead of hexagons. And it's really well made. The enemies have, or the allies have, mana, they have attack speed, and just the general stats that you would expect. And seeing how it's the same exact game that Teamfight Tactics came from, you can probably expect a good time from playing it. These are actually the 3 only games that are close, or even, I guess, even relatively close. This sort of genre, like I said earlier, is very new. So that makes for all of our, I guess, Teamfight Tactics-like games. It's a short list, but it's a good list. All of the games are different enough to be their own experience, which is great, so they can be played alongside TFT. And like I said, because they're different enough, none of them can really replace TFT. Teamfight Tactics is, to be honest, to be frank, it's a work of art. It is probably the best version of the game type that I've played yet. So if you're looking for something to scratch that itch, you probably won't find it. Anyway, that's all for now. See you guys next time.